here at the Road Safety Day in Nevada, having a fantastic day, and I have the pleasure of talking with introduce yourself.
Don Hill from Las Vegas and Henderson Drone Pilots.
So tell me a little bit about it.
Well, we started off as a Facebook group, and just a place that people could post pictures that they took around the Las Vegas area. And then I went out with Cameron Grant, and I was his visual observer, and I had my book of all of the research that I had done about the different drone laws in the Las Vegas Valley, because we have so many different jurisdictions here. And so he said, you really need to get this on a website. And the problem with the Facebook group is you'd have people stating their opinion rather than what the laws really were. And so we needed a place that we could research what the law really was and get the correct information out to people.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, so before we move on, what is that website?
It's lvhdp.com, Las Vegas Henderson Drone Pilots.
Okay, there we go.
lvhdp.com. And there's a link to the original Facebook group. So if there's meetups and things like that, a lot of people in the Las Vegas area will post those meetups on the Facebook group, as well as Old Farts with Drones website, which is another famous one around the Las Vegas area.
I am just so excited with the community that we have here. And if they were reaching out and looking through your website, they would have found out about this event?
Yes, they would.
Awesome. And there's another event coming up, I believe, in November?
It's the second annual Vegas Drone Meetup. So I'm on the planning committee for the first annual Vegas Drone Meetup, and I'm on the planning committee for the second meetup as well. And I also work a lot with the county parks and recreation departments and the city parks and recreation departments to try to get more drones on their list of parks that you can fly at.
Oh, fantastic. We need that.
Right.
Awesome. Tell us a little bit about your drone journey.
Well, I got an email from the FAA indicating that before you fly again, you need to take the trust test. And I got the email probably because I had flown RC helicopters and planes in the past, and I had one of the first generation drones. And so when I went and took the trust test, I found out that one of the things you had to do was follow the rules of the community-based organization, and there weren't any at that time. So I go like, well, if I can't fly under the exception 44809, then I need to get my 107. So I took the next 10 days, crammed, did self-study, went down, took my test, and passed it on the first time. So I didn't really take a formal class other than the free classes that I could find by doing Google searches. And it was on the day that I took my test was the commercial UAV drone expo here in Las Vegas. So I took my paper from the test exam, and I went over to the FAA booth, and they walked me through how to submit that in order to get my 107. And so that was 3 years ago. So since I'm 2 years past my 107, I did take the certification, which is a little bit like taking the trust test. You know, it's very easy to pass that.
So you brought up something that's really, really key. We are, as drone pilots, we are flying under Part 107 regulations. But if we're not flying under those, we want the exception to the rule, and that is the trust.
Right.
And so, really key, which I think a lot of people don't realize, that the rules are 107.
Right.
But the exception is through that trust and flying 4409. And so that's really a key thing.
And people really need to realize also that if you're in controlled airspace, you still need to get a LANS approval, whether you're flying 107 or 44809. I think that's one of the things that there are a lot of recreational pilots that fly only at maybe an AMA field. We have 4 of them in the Las Vegas area. Their experience is with the trust, with the AMA, and when they go out away from an AMA field, they don't realize, oh, I've got to get the airspace approval myself. I live in the city of Henderson, and down here we have only 4 of the parks in Henderson you can fly drones at, and 3 of those are in controlled airspace. So the city doesn't tell you, oh, by the way, you can fly at these 4 parks, but 3 of the 4 you have to get LANS approval. So I'm trying to work with the Parks and Recreation Department so they put more information on their website to let people know that, yes, we've given you approval to take off and land, but to fly here you need to get
Wow, that's great. Yeah. Wow, that's awesome. Okay, so I know we've thrown a lot of really good tidbits out there already, but if you were going to give some advice to someone that is just starting out to fly, what would you suggest to us?
Well, the first thing is go to my website.
Yeah, I like it.
And go to the FAA tab and come down to trust and go and take your trust test. And if you don't understand what some of the things mean, like you can only fly at 400 feet above ground level. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. Or at whatever height, if you're in controlled airspace, you get approval from the FAA. So if they don't know how to get a LANS approval, then that's something that you should really do. So you got your trust exam, you got your certificate, you've gone to the FAA website and you've registered your drone recreationally. But then you look at all the things you could do if you had your 107 and just go ahead and study for it, get the 107. It's not really that difficult. You know, there's a lot of, you look at an air chart and you go like, what are all these different blue lines and magenta lines, and it's shaded on one side, and you've got little peaks in there, and you know, with numbers on them, and is that number above ground level? Is it above sea level? But there's a lot of study material out there. You know, Pilot Institute has a nice course that if you want to be walking through each of the areas in the Part 107, you can go that route. For me, I'm kind of a self-study person, so I was able to find enough information to pass the test the first time just by doing a lot of Google searches, and I produced a book, a study book for myself of all of the research that I had done.
Everybody has their own way of studying, you know, just do it.
And I think that there's 2 things that I see as the main violations that people have. When they're flying first-person view and they don't have a visual observer, what does it say I need a visual observer? It says you have to maintain line of sight with the aircraft. And if you got the goggles on, you don't have that line of sight to the aircraft. And that's one of the 2 things that the VO is for. The second thing the VO is for is to keep somebody from tapping you on the shoulder while you're flying and distracting you from your primary job of flying the aircraft. So my VO is lets me know when there's civilians that are coming up or when there's law enforcement coming up, so that I'm not surprised by a tap on the shoulder while I'm trying to fly. And the second thing is, on the back of that trust card, it says you must follow the rules of a community-based organization. And if you don't know what a community-based organization is, and you haven't printed out their safety guidelines, how can you possibly be following them? And if you're not following them, then you're in 107 without a pilot certificate.
Wow. And another key thing is print it out.
Right.
You know, it's one thing to say, oh, I'm adhering to it.
Yeah. Or I'm just flying recreationally.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Guidelines you're going by.
But just because you're flying under 107 doesn't mean you can't still have fun.
Yes.
You know, and people think that, you know, recreational flying is, well, I'm having fun. As long as I'm having fun, I'm under recreational. But actually, it's the limited exception for recreational flying. And with a the real emphasis on limited. And if you want to get away from the limitations that 44809 puts on you, get your 107.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing with us. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And great day out here.
Oh,
Fantastic.
beautiful weather.
Yeah.
Nice day for flying.
Thank you.
Come out and fly with us.
Yes.